What's up out there? It is time to get caught up with Ancient Relic mode. So I do have some progress to show, but I can't progress any further. And I have some complaints. I'm kind of getting tired of this expansion in a lot of ways. So we're going to have a complaint session here. All right, first and foremost, I spent the week working on my combat skills. Everything is leveled up except for prayer to the max level that I can reach. Basically, almost all of my non-combat skills are leveled up. Smithing is not at level 40. I could take it there, but there's really no point. I'm getting tired of having to switch this realm too. I thought there was a patch recently that said whatever you select stays selected, and it's not doing it. Certain things like woodcutting do, but things like herblore do not. Smithing does not. I'm getting frustrated having to switch back. The last thing I did was smith something with the abyssal side, and it defaults back to the Melvor realm. It's kind of half and half. It's frustrating. All right, so anyway, I can create, everything keeps wanting to mouse over. I can create Gloomite swords. Problem is, I have to complete the Depth of Decay to equip it, and I can't complete the Depth of Decay, which we'll talk about here in a second. So the only things that I can work on is Gloomite gear, but I can't even craft any of this stuff because I can't create Gloomite bars. I fortunately got some gloom resin from combat or something, so I was able to create a sword, but I can't equip any of this gear. I think all of the gear is basically locked behind, it's all locked behind that Depths of Decay. So even though I can create it, I can't use it. So there's no point in taking it up to level 40, so that one's stalled out. Herblore I've neglected for far too long. I need to work on Herblore. Keep having to switch the realms. That sucks. I need to get to this laceration potion because that's going to help on DPS, I think. I'm hoping anyway. I can now work on agility. I just noticed that. I totally glossed over it. I saw it at level 10 and I thought that was my cap. And then I noticed, it's level 25. So I need to work on that. That'll help out a little bit. So I'll probably spend a chunk of this week working on that. Summoning, I got to switch the realms again. That's frustrating. I realized today that I had never created an imp tablet. So I spent last night fishing. I started fishing. I put like at least 10 hours into fishing. And I came over here to create these tablets. Those were gone in 60 seconds. I spent all night to get enough Crimson Biters for 60 seconds of tablet creation today. That juice is not worth the squeeze. Now, to be fair, as I went along, this reduced as the mastery leveled up, which is great and all, but the grind on this expansion is horrible. This is just a horribly low, slow slog. I'm kind of getting miserable of that. That's kind of getting old fast. So I need to work on this stuff here. I need to work on herblore. I need to get that leveled up. I need to work on summoning, get that leveled up so I can use more tablets. Need to get agility leveled up. I need to do all of these things. So let's talk about the Depths of Decay for a second. Now, I made up my mind that I was going to try this dungeon with this character today. So yesterday, I decided to try it with my standard account. What I've been working on mostly with my standard account is combat areas, slayer areas, and non-combat skills. I think I'm level 30 or 40 in combat skills and 30, 40, 50-ish with non-combat stuff. I've kind of just been working all over the place. One thing I find is that, hey, I want to go work on, let's pick crafting. I want to go level up crafting, which means I need to go collect Azurian bars, Void Heart, Shadow Scales, Abyssal Stone. That means I got to go into harvesting. I think harvesting gets me these things. Void Heart means I got to go back over to mining to go work on, I think there's a Void Heart thing somewhere in here. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. So then I got to go work on, what we're looking at, crafting. Then I got to go work on these bars, which means I need Azurian bars. So now I got to go back into smithing, and we got to go over here to Azurian bars, which means more mining and more harvesting. So you kind of just go all over the place to do anything. You want it to work on this. Well, the most optimal version of this is to go, okay, you want to work on obsidian bars because that's going to be the most XP. But now you need to go get obsidian and whatever this stuff is, this obsidian bark. So it just, I find myself running all over the place on my standard account, and I haven't really gotten into a groove with anything because I'm constantly going somewhere else. Oh, I would like to have better ranged gear. I wanted to start working on ranged on my standard account, which meant I needed to go work on crafting stuff. And now I have to go get leather. Okay, well, then I got to go into wood cutting and get the wood for this stuff. And then whatever other stuff comes down here. So I just find myself bouncing around all over the place, which is a lot of the reason why I have not tried the Depths of Decay on my standard account yet. I'm just all over all the different skills trying to get pushed forward. And I want to go get ranged, but I need all this other stuff. I want to go get magic, but I need all this other stuff to keep pushing it forward. Okay, so I go work on all that stuff. So that's why I hadn't bothered with the Depths of Decay on either account up until yesterday. So yesterday I logged into my standard account and tried to beat the Depths of Decay. However, I got all the way to the end of it. It looks like you need to use magic to beat that boss, but I wasn't like the magic spells that I have available. I think I'm down to this row of magic spells. I didn't have the runes for it. Like I needed to work on, I guess I'm at level 39, either 29 or 39, something like one of these two. And I couldn't cast the spells. The best spell I could do was like Abyssal Eruption. That was it. And it just wasn't doing the DPS. So I've basically had to take my standard account and just start working on rune crafting to create all the runes. I think I've got the level for it. I just didn't have the runes created. Enough of the runes to really cast very long. Like I created the runes and then just enough to where I could put them into the bank, the tab that I wanted in my bank. And then that was it. So I've had to stop and go mine and then bind up a bunch of the abyssal runes. And then now I can go runecraft. But then you start getting into the higher crafts, the rune crafts on here. And some of this stuff is ridiculous. The amount of different, like it starts taking 5 of these, I don't know. And then 5 of the others. You got like 4, kind of like you look at crafting. Like if you look at what these things cost, I can't show it here because it's not unlocked, but like the runes start costing a bunch of stuff too. So now you have to create other runes to create this one, and now you run these down, and now you got to build those and these. I'm kind of getting, I'm tired of the amount of grind that there is in this thing. Coming back to the Depths of Decay. So I had little hope to be able to defeat this today. And I did attempt it. I tried recording it. I just wasn't feeling it. We get all the way through all of the trash mobs. It takes about 12 minutes to get through the trash mobs because I recorded it and watched my timestamp. So it takes a fairly decent amount of time to get through all that. You get all the way down to the final boss, and then you can't damage the thing. It's got 4.2 million life. It regenerates life the entire time. And what damage you do manage to do on it with fire and stuff like that, it just immediately heals back. So I cannot progress forward at this moment. And the only, I can do it with melee. I can't attempt this with anything but melee because I'm very limited on my crafting gear and rune crafting gear at level 10. So the best combat gear that I can get is the very basic combat gear for magic and ranged. It's just the basic combat gear. I can do better with my melee gear, but I can't do better with anything else. So I think what I'm going to have to do is sit down and go into, is it this? The Blighted Marsh has these amulets of distance, amulet of enchantment, and amulet of power. I'm going to guess I need to grind those things out. I did grind out the Smog Fiend Cape. I don't think these have anything I care about here. But then like some of these Abyssal Slayer areas, I might need to go grind out maybe an Amulet of Corruption or something, Amulet of Enchantment, Amulet of Distance. I'm not sure. Toxic Fumes one, like there's some weapons here. I probably need to grind some of this stuff out. And then there's a lot of areas I can't get to yet. I need to grind out this Woeful Chest, get this Abyssal Shield, these Woeful Gloves. I don't have any gloves for the expansion. I'm running gloves that are not made for the expansion. So I ran into a lot of DPS issues and just cannot progress forward. So where I wanted to run a dungeon today, I can't. I just physically can't. I mean, I can run the dungeon. I can't beat it. And it's going to take I don't know how long to grind this stuff out. I'm getting frustrated, basically. I'm frustrated with having to click on here and change this realm every time. That's getting old fast. I'm tired of the grind where you got to grind out 4 or 5 different components to just create one thing. It's all of this is getting to be a very, very long grind. And I hate to complain about it, but it's just getting frustrating. It's getting to be a very big grind that's, I don't know that the juice is worth the squeeze at this point. And some of the frustration, I think, is because this is a new expansion that plays different than everything else that we've got. So I'm having to learn how this works, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but with the amount of grind that's on top of it, like the amount of cost, the cost reduction and things that you have to deal with, and I don't know, it's kind of getting a little bit frustrating with some of this stuff. And I still feel like they've taken things out of the game to put it into this skill tree. When we first looked at this, I first thought that skill tree was going to be like a bonus on top of everything. But now it feels like they've pulled all that out and shoved it into the skill tree so that you have to get the game back to normal, and that's more what it feels like. The more I play this, the more I really feel that they've taken a lot out, put it off as skill trees and masteries and everything else. So that just to get back to the base game, you have to work a lot over time. And that's like increasing the longevity of this because now they've added all this extra grind to it. I don't know. I hate for this video to be negative, but I'm starting to get very disillusioned with this expansion. And unfortunately, oh, here we go. We need 6 of these fish. It's not as bad as 250, but like I can't even craft this. I'm stuck using the worst skill or the worst item because I don't have enough of the other item because something else blew through it. That's where my frustrations come out. So anyway, this one is not a very pleasant one. It's more of a complaint thing. But that's where we are. I am working on this. I've realized that I need to work on herb lore, summoning, and agility. Those are very much lacking. Those will probably get me the lacerating potion and whatever agility stuff that I can get in there and the tablets and everything. That's going to help out with the DPS on that boss and whatever items I can start getting from the other dungeon that I've completed and all the little slayer areas and stuff. I need to grind all that out and just get it all. That should help me get through. So there's going to be a lot of front-loaded grind, and we'll be back next week with hopefully, I don't think I'll be able to run that dungeon next week if I have to do all this other grind first. We'll see how that works out. As agility is probably going to be a week alone, just leveling that up. But at any rate, such as it is, that is what I have for this week's video. A lot of complaining, a little bit of progress, and a big brick wall in front of me. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.